Hey family, you're tuning in to the Jimmy Bonds podcast on Illadelphia Radio. Pardon any technical difficulties as we're recording live on the Zoom platform. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Yeah. Jimmy. Lights, camera, action. Some people thought I quit and I ain't giving satisfaction. From a different era, writing rhymes up on napkins. What you had to say was more important, man, than trapping. Yeah, I'm talking back and speaking of contemporary. What's good, family, and welcome to another episode of Jimmy Bonds Podcast on Illadelphia Radio. This episode is sponsored by Major Flavor Catering. I'm your host, Jimmy Bonds, along with my co-host, Ty T.Y. What's good, Ty? How you feeling?
From the 215, JB. Let's get it.
You know how we do it, fam. Live from the 215. And of course, I can't forget my other lovely co-host, Miss T with the T. She is not here with us tonight, but she is always with us in spirit. Remember, family, you can call us with your comments and questions at 844-844-1244. Again, that's 844-844-1244. You can also email us at jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. That's jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. That's JIMMYBONDS podcast@gmail.com. And remember, family, you can also follow us on Instagram at Jimmy Bonds Podcast, on Twitter at Podcast Bonds, and also on Facebook on the Jimmy Bonds Podcast Facebook group. Make sure you tap in, and we can always continue to open the dialogue. Well, family, tonight we are continuing our Artist Spotlight series, and I am lucky, humble, and thankful and excited to be joined by an artist out of the D by way of Miami. And family, her track record is extensive. Her accomplishments are many. She has a growing fan base and an international fan base as well. She's done 30 curated shows in 11 different states. She has done, what else? She has her own brand, C3 official brand. I like to describe her as honest, ambitious, pioneering, encouraging, funny, influential, and activist. She's devoted to her own craft, and she's created her own lane. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to Chelzzz. What's up, Chelzzz? How you doing?
Hey, well, damn, thank you. Cool.
You know, listen, we like to give our artists and our people coming on a nice little intro. I always think that people deserve the credit that the work they've done. You know what I mean? So I think that's really important. I think that's really one of the things that we focus on. But, you know, that's enough about us. Let's talk about you. You know, how you doing? How you feeling?
Hey, bro. I mean, it's a Monday, so no complaints right now. You know, definitely just kicking it and just trying to get the week started.
Get the week. It is Monday, right? I mean, some people hate Mondays. I kind of like Mondays. This reminds me, you got to go to work. Time to work. Time to hustle, you know?
Yeah, I like Mondays. It's like a restart, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Well, you know, talking about stuff restarting, I recently saw that you just put out a project recently called Somewhere in Miami. And how did that come about? How did you create Somewhere in Miami? What was that about?
You know, like the whole album was kind of just based on my journey of coming down to Florida and just like the different vibe and like the music and how it developed, just kind of, you know, from a Midwest style to like Midwest meets East Coast meets like South, because, you know, Miami's got a whole flair all its own. So like, you know, kind of all of it integrated together to make the whole project. And yeah, I mean, it came together. All the tracks flowed together really well. So I'm super proud of it.
I mean, you should be. I've checked out some of the videos. I've checked out some of the behind the scenes. I'm not going to speak about the behind the scenes I've seen, but you know, we all know what it's about. We all understand, you know. But I love it. I thought it was a great way to take the fans behind the scenes and let them see what you're doing and how you grind it. You know, also notice in some of your videos, it's a lot of energy. It's a lot of thought going into your videos. You can tell each one of them is different. It's not like just the same video over and over again. I thought just how you took some of this music and kind of brought it to life just with your own personality. And I thought that was a very interesting part as far as just being an artist. You know what I mean? Just being an artist, you really get to see who you are in these particular videos from this project. But even with all that being said, like, what is your favorite track on the project?
Shit. I mean, like, honestly, that's really hard to say. Like you said, like the videos are such a big experience and like such an important part of the entire thing. So I think my favorite like video and like just like the craziest time and like the just most epic story and just backstory to the entire video was probably nighttime. But my favorite track and my favorite, experience in the entire video that I shot was Stimulus. Like, I got to be back home in Detroit. My dad was in the video, like all of my fans, so it was a great experience for me. That was.
I was thinking that plastic. It was plastic like that you was wearing, but it was like a whole like fashion statement at the same time. Like, I was really digging that. Like, yo, okay, I'm seeing that, and I can see it was your real like hardcore in that video, like the real people like that have really been down with you from day one. You can really see that in the video. I didn't think those were extras. You know what I'm saying? Like, so.
It was just super fun. Like it was a really, really dope experience. And like being able to meet people that have been rocking with me for a really long time that I had never even met before, so excuse me, like really, really cool. And like, I'm excited to be able to go back this summer and try and do a little something again and see what I could do with a couple more tracks that I got coming out.
Yeah, we can't wait to hear those. Ty, you got any questions before I jump on my next one, man?
Yes. C3. What does it stand for?
So Chelzzz with 3 Z's, So easiest way for people to remember. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to make a brand out of it. My ex designed the logo and it just kind of stuck. And now like 30 people have it as a tattoo and people are rocking the shirts. So movement.
You got a C3 Nation out there, right?
Right, that's right.
C3 Nation. How was it? Was it difficult for you to, I don't know, did you have to change your style once you got to Miami as far as the different music styles?
I don't think like so much change my style, but I think like as artist, I'm always adapting and like creating to, not necessarily like what people want, but like when I listen to something and I'm like, I like the way that sounded, like, how can I put my own spin on that, And I think as a female artist, especially a gay female artist, like I pull a lot of influence from male artists, but like I could also take, some flows from female artists too, but I don't do that as much. I think because like I'm trying to compete with the male artists out there and then some of the male energy out there. Like I want to learn from my fellow creatives. And I think being able to kind of put my own spin on some things that I might hear and like, just kind of adapt to certain styles that are around me, but not necessarily conform is kind of more where I'm at.
Yeah,
you pretty much have your own identity. You know what I mean? Like, there's probably some out there that's looking at you like, okay, let me take bits and pieces from what she's doing and put it to their music, or their styles and flow,
For sure.
I appreciate that. I think that that's what makes you like a good artist though, is like being able to learn from other people. Like there are so many people out there that don't grow because they're so busy comparing themselves to others rather than like, seeing what those people bring to the table and how you can maybe put your own spin on that or like just, I don't know, necessarily make it your own. I think more people, if they wanted to go outside the box and try to do that, then maybe it would be a little bit better for them. I don't know.
It was put together. It's crazy how it was put together. The video Voodoo.
Oh, Voodoo was crazy.
Yeah, that
was... Voodoo was crazy.
Did you direct that?
So yeah, it was kind of crazy because like that day was like, it all went wrong. Like everybody was supposed to show up to the video shoot, thought it was the day before. So they all showed up the day before and then no one was able to come the next day. So I had no extras except for like a few people. So we were in this like empty amusement park where there were just a bunch of kids and the kids were coming up to us because they saw cameras and they were like, yo, can we be a part of this project? And we're like, this is actually perfect because we have nobody right now. So, I mean, it ended up working out the way it worked out. It was cool. Like we shot it at the Swap Shop in Fort Lauderdale. So anybody that's like local to Broward County and is like tuning in, they'll really kind of know about that.
Yeah.
Over there. It was cool to like have a part of Broward in the video too, because that's where I stay, like that's kind of my area that I rep in Florida. So I liked being able to like have such a focal point of the entire like county, like everybody knows that place. So it was dope to be able to shoot there. And they were so generous about everything too. So like, it's really cool to be able to kind of collab with people locally. But yeah, like, I don't know, we had masks and the kids wanted to wear them and it was just a dope experience, I guess. And it was cool. And I mean, we all had tacos together afterwards. So that was pretty lit too.
Yeah, that's dope. That's real dope, man. Yeah, see, you see how things just come together and you never know how things gonna work out, but then they work out to like the best way it's supposed to need, the way it's supposed to go, really, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes we as artists, we go out, we had these big old ideas and it's like, yo, we're gonna have all these people there, it's gonna be crazy. And then it ends up being something completely different, but it actually ends up being what you needed. You know what I'm saying? And I think sometimes we take that for granted, but just even telling the story, I understand like it's one of those things you appreciate when you're working, you know what I mean? When you're creating, when you're being the artist that you want to be. Even with that, I mean, I seen your Twitter follow and I seen it up there. It's kind of crazy. I definitely see it. And I also see that you're always encouraging people out there no matter what, you know what I mean? Like waking up, having a bad day, just giving them shouts out. Even just putting quotes on there that you think is important. You know what I mean? I noticed that about you on your Twitter. But even with gaining all your success, doing what you've done, all the shows you've done, your growing international fan base, have the goals changed? Have the goals changed from when you first started, from what you first started doing?
I mean, like I always thought, like maybe I've always like wanted more than I could handle or more than, I don't know, maybe I was like ready for at the time, but I don't know. Like I always looked at the bigger picture, like I never really aimed low. Like what's the point? I knew what I want. And so like from jump, it was always, I don't necessarily have to be signed, but I want this to be my career eventually, in one way or another. And I want to be involved in this industry for as long as possible. Making music, writing music, creating and directing, doing different things, even like the visionary for all of like my music videos and stuff like that. Like I like bringing a story to life. So I want to be in this for the long run, no matter how or where this may take me, but it's always been the music. And at the end of the day, like that's really, I think I've done that, I'm making money off shows, I'm making money off my music. It's not, it's a humble amount, but it's still like it's going back into what I'm putting into it right now.
Exactly.
So I can't be mad, like I'm living my dream right now. And I'm just now starting to like kind of disclose more of this side of my life. But like I work a 9 to 5 too. I'm the vice president of an engineering firm from 9 to 5. So I have something to fall back on, which I think is super important. I'm never going to lose sight of what's also super important to me, which is my dreams. So all my extra money goes into my music and it's paid off because now I'm starting to make that money back. And I think that that's a blessing in itself. Like I don't need to be rich off this. I want to be successful. And however you define success is your bar, I guess. But I would rather have more people know my music and not make as much money off of it than have, millions of dollars and only playing local shows.
You are completely different than the artists that you normally come across. And I don't mean just because of appearance. I mean, really in mind, thought, and philosophy. You know what I mean? Like, I think people really don't know what it takes to be an artist on an independent level or even on a grander level when you're signed. I mean, you have to be able to say to yourself, I don't care what happens. It's about my impact on people. You know what I mean? And most artists get out there and I'm going to make this song and I'm going to make $1 million. That's their mindset. You know what I mean? And that's not reality. Reality is you have to create some more, to even make the impact that the impact that you think about making. I'm sitting here listening to you. She's like, yeah, I'm the vice president of an engineering company. Like, yo, I'm all smiles over here because people don't know that there is a business side as well that people have to have within this industry. And even if you do it during the day, it's still your business side. It's still what you see as you don't know what you might come across in your business during the day that might benefit you in your music later on. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's a constant evolution not just of an artist, but really as a person, you know what I mean? To grasp that, I think it's dope. Not just inspiring. I think like, I'm the same way. You know what I mean? Like you said, nobody talks about a day job. Everybody talking about what they do with the lights and the cameras and the action. You know what I mean? But yeah, like that's dope. So, I've talked about some of your accomplishments. What have been some of your challenges? What things have you had to overcome?
I mean, as a whole, there's quite a few things, but I think like the most recent has been like the whole COVID situation because the shows, like my brand like was really hitting the ground running. Like we were starting to do festivals. We were starting to get noticed by bigger, people tied in with bigger opportunities. So it just, it really, really was taken off. And unfortunately, it went completely south. I haven't been able to throw a show in over a year, not a successful one, if I'm just going to be honest, and it's because of all the restrictions. It's not that people didn't show up. Unfortunately, we were having to turn people away because, we couldn't, we were over capacity. No one was wearing their masks. And it was unfortunate, but like we lost the venue because of it. And so now I'm working on getting some more venues, especially now because it's kind of that time of year again. Like I think Rolling Loud in Miami really set everything off. If that's going to happen, then I can throw a show too. So I'm starting to kind of get revved up. I've been preparing the past few weeks, just kind of trying to figure some things out. I might go up to Atlanta in a couple of weeks and try and throw something up there as well. So I got a couple of opportunities. I'm making a drive up to Michigan. So I'm thinking that I could turn it into a mini tour and stop in Cleveland, and then do something in Detroit, and then maybe go down through like Pittsburgh or Philly or something on the way home and figure some things out, maybe Youngstown again. So I'm got a couple of things in the works, and we'll see how everything kind of comes into formation these next couple of weeks and how I could throw some things together in short notice.
Well, shoot, man, you definitely got some stuff in the pipeline. At least you plotting on it already. At least it's something that you're plotting on. And listen, a plan is a plan. You never know what could happen. That's the way I see it.
Yeah.
Man, listen. You kill me right now. You give me goosebumps. I'm sitting over here like, yo, I'm looking at myself over here, son. I don't know what look what I'm seeing. Like I love everything about what you're talking about, Chelzzz. Some people can't really relate to the drive like this, you know what I mean? Some people just think it's just, just make a song, shoot a video, but it's a lot more that goes into it. It's a lot more behind the scenes, a lot more networking, a lot more people that you talk to. So, I know you out
see
there.
The work in a video.
No, the work. Yeah, no, listen, the work is real. You know what I mean? The work is real. So you can tell that it's not just, it's an idea, it's a thought, then it blossoms and blooms into something even more. So, all the videos I've seen that you've done, I'm just like, you know what I mean? So listen, like, it's great to see an artist striving for what it is that they believe in, striving for their goals, no matter what it is. There's nothing holding them back to do what it is. Even people who got 9 to 5, I want all my 9 to 5ers to hear this. Like, if you have a dream or you have an aspiration, please don't let your 9 to 5 stop you. Keep pushing, keep driving. We got to have something to fall back on. That is true, but you got to keep pushing. You got to keep going to get there. So, I just wanted to say that. We're going to take a quick break, family. We come back. We're going to talk to Chelzzz some more about her past and her future and what else she got going on, family. But listen, we're going to take a quick break. Remember, you can call us with your comments and questions at 844-844-1244. Again, it's 844-844-1244. You can also email us at jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. Again, it's jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. It's JIMMYBONDS podcast@gmail.com. You'll listen to the Jimmy Bonds podcast on Illadelphia Radio. We'll be right back.
Cut the check. I want some diamonds on my neck. What the fuck gotta do to get respect? Sell a pound, get a bag. Made $1 million, reinvest. Now I got some people coming for my head, but I'm screaming, cut the check. I want some diamonds on my neck. What the fuck gotta do to get respect? Sell a get a bag. Made $1 million, reinvest. Now I got some people coming for my head, but I'm screaming, cut the check, cut it out or cut you up. No, I'm about my bag and I ain't playing, so what's up? About to shut it down when you see me and I'm out, cause I'm shining through your city with these diamonds in my mouth. I've been told that I am the head hunter. dough, know to make it hail. So grabbing they ponchos, I'm here unveiling everything that they not go. I'm climbing to the ceiling, all the way to the top, yo. But people funny when they know you got that profit. They tryna be tummy, wanna jack up on my pocket. I keep my circle tighter than my. I'm an army by myself. Chelzzz swag.
Hey, this is Michael from Abu Dhabi. Listen to Jimmy Bond's podcast on Illadelphia Radio.
Welcome back to the Jimmy Bonds podcast on Illadelphia Radio. We thank you for listening. Remember, family, you can call us at 844-844-1244. Again, it's 844-844-1244. You can also email us at jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. Again, it's jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. That's JIMMYBONDS podcast@gmail.com. And welcome back to Jimmy Bonds podcast on Illadelphia Radio. Now, family, again, we're continuing our Artist Spotlight series, and we are lucky again and humble and thankful to be joined by no other but my friend, my Chelzzz, my sister, Chelzzz. What's up, mama? Thank you for coming in again. Thank you for joining us. On this segment, we're gonna cover a little bit something different. We're gonna take you back home. We're gonna find out what home was like. So tell us what it was like growing up in the D in Detroit.
Shit. I mean, it was great. I mean, I was super close with my family. So, yeah, I mean, like I was at my grandma's every Sunday for dinner and shit. Like, we would have birthdays and stuff like that. Like my family was all on the west side and I grew up on the east side. So life was like kind of different. But, I started rapping basically when I was probably in like 6th, 7th grade. I played basketball all my life, like recreational leagues and stuff until I was old enough to like.
Favorite team?
My favorite team, the Detroit Pistons, of course. I grew up going to like the WNBA, like the Shock games and stuff like that. Like Swing Cash was my hero. But it was like I rep the D hard still. I mean, obviously, but like that was what made me. Honestly, that's where I started rapping and stuff. Like I would rap to my basketball team just to get us hyped up, and we would always lose. But I really started falling in love with writing at like a really young age. It ended up being an outlet for me. I would write poetry. I would write music. I wrote different songs as far as, like different outside of rap music, like different genres. I wrote a wedding song for my friend and actually performed it at her wedding. So, I'm versatile, but hip hop was always like what really, I think probably because of where I grew up, like was what I was mostly gravitated towards. If I lived in Nashville, maybe I'd be a country singer, but I didn't grow up there. So, I think like a lot of the times, like, that definitely is something that, made me into the type of artist that I am today. I miss Detroit. Like I lived there for a better part of my life, and I've lived down here in Miami for about 6 years. My family's all up there, so I try and go back there as much as possible. But it's since my mom's passed away and my grandma passed away and stuff like that, like it's kind of hard to go and visit sometimes. So
yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, man. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, no, it's all right.
I understand.
Try and make people come down to me more often, the weather's better here.
It's always sunny in Florida. That's what they say. It's always sunny in Florida. It probably rains like an hour, right? An hour a day, and then that's it. So yeah, I know it's crazy down in Florida. I mean, you took the words out of my mouth. I was going to ask you when you started rapping, but you just started going into it anyways. I'm like, yes, exactly. But you go from Detroit to Miami. Like what was that transition, or why was it even a transition you felt like you needed to make?
Well, to be honest, I had just gotten out of jail. I was really, really trying to do the right thing. And I ended up kind of getting screwed over. It was my own damn fault. Like I had so many warrants out for my arrest. Like I can't even front. Like I tried to go and like go to court, and I had found out that I had missed a court date. So like they wanted me. So I was on the run, like from the second that I got out of jail. And I was facing like mad charges, like some really ridiculous stuff. So I knew I couldn't stay in Michigan. It was only a matter of time before I get caught back up again. and I had to dip. So I bought a car for like $800. I drove down to Florida with my ex, and we packed all of our stuff up. We had like $1,000 and we moved down here. Yeah, I got a job waiting tables right away and started making some decent money, like right on the beach, like South Florida. I was making good money, and we got a place to stay. It was straight. Like we down here, like weekly rent is a thing. So like it was in our favor. So it was like, it was just like, all right, and honestly, 6 years later, I have my own house. I have 2 cars. The things I could tell you, mess that I've gotten myself into and got myself out of like multiple times, but I actually ended up turning myself in back home in Michigan a few years ago. And I got off probation a couple of years ago, and it's been really cool. It was like the first time I successfully completed probation before, finally did something right.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's awesome. Yo, that's freaking awesome. I'm over here just grinning, just smiling, just grinning. Like, because look, man, we all hit little, peaks and valleys. That's life. We all go through things, man. We all have times where we just gotta just get away. You know what I mean? Get away from those things that hold us up. But then when you make it through and you look back on it, man, sometimes you gotta pat yourself on the back, like, yo, I did that. Wow. You know what I mean? Like, I can't believe I did that, but I did it, and that's love, man. And I'm honored. I'm sure Ty feel the same way that you even would share that with us, and just even that experience. A lot of people don't want to talk about those kind of things. They're like, I'm just this, but just the fact that you even share that with us, I'm humbled by it. I'm thankful for it. I really mean that. I'm not trying to BS you. You know what I mean? So,
of course, I appreciate it. It's part of my story. And like, I want other people to know, like, I've done the damn thing. So like, if anybody could have like a story like that and like get through and make a difference and be different, like, you can definitely be who you want to be, and no one can tell you otherwise.
How did you start the Freestyle Fridays?
That was just like when I was working in the office. I work from home now, and now I'm starting to go back up into the office more often just to help out a little bit more. But so maybe Freestyle Fridays will come back. Who knows? But it was just a way Fridays to just like kind of give some people something to look forward to, break up the day a little bit. And at least for me, like, it gave me a little chance to just like get creative and break up the day a little bit and like get out for a little bit of a break and like make other people smile, but like make myself happy and kind of like do something that freed my soul at the same time. So, I've been, I take Fridays off nowadays. So I've been hanging out by the pool and writing more music than doing like Freestyle Fridays. So I've been giving less away for free because the bars are too good, I think,
There you go.
Yeah, I feel you on that one, right?
More Freestyle Fridays, though? You got more coming eventually?
We might have to bring it back.
I think you will. I think you definitely have to bring that back. Freestyle, yes. That's an old school, people don't do that no more. They don't do those kind of things no more, man. And so you gotta bring that back and keep the authentic nature of hip hop. That's hip hop right there, So tell me this. What inspires Chelzzz? What makes you be like, I gotta keep going?
My family is everything to me. I think that everybody in my family has gone through a lot of loss lately. And I want to keep being that positive person in their lives, even on the days that I'm not feeling it, because like when I give back to others, that's what puts me in a better mood. So I think like, I could sit there and be stuck in anything that I want to be, but like, that's not helping myself or helping another person. And if I'm, giving back and doing that for other people, people don't realize that like it does so much for me in return. It really does. But like my family is 100% of the reason why that I grind the way that I grind. Like I want to be able to support my dad in his retirement. and be able to help, my cousins and my brother and, my sister out and everything else, and just like really give back to them and my niece and my nephews and my niece, and, all my nieces. And I mean, like, that's the most important thing for me. I don't have kids of my own, not yet. So, I'm grinding for the people that I care about the most,
I hear that it sounds like it's bigger than you. That's really what the ideal is. It's bigger than me. It's not just about me. And I always say that the world or the country we live in is all about me. Everything is about me, 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 me. What I want, what I need. It's got an iPhone. You know what I mean? It's just, when I think about that, just listening to what you talk about, I can hear that, it's bigger than me. So, I have to act accordingly. You know what I mean? Like my drive is to act accordingly because it is bigger than me. And I think once you get to that point, you understand that it's not just about you, that you in your career and your everyday life, it's not just about you. I think that's just a better way to live life. It's a better way for us to be more harmonious in our actions. You know what I mean? And how we talk to each other, really, and how we love on each other, how we support each other. I think people just they have to grasp that in the end, that's a vital point of being I guess I would call you a centerpiece, somebody who's there for everybody, you know what I mean? And in a certain kind of way, but the responsibility is major. And, that's why I can hear you saying like, I know exactly what that is. It's definitely bigger than you, definitely bigger than you. One thing that I know for a fact I wanted to ask about was your activism. I saw that you were an activist. What does that mean to you? Because you see that word thrown around all the time. And to me, sometimes it's thrown around just media talk, you know what I mean? But what does it mean to you? What type of activities do you feel like your activism does? You know what I mean? What do you think that it helps out with?
Well, I think standing up for people and standing up for what you believe in general is activism. But as far as like the platforms that I support personally, I'm obviously I'm gay, so, LGBTQ is a big platform that I support. I'm trying to partner with a couple of different brands right now that are trying to raise more awareness to the community in general. I personally right now have a lawsuit going on with JetBlue over some discrimination that they had did to me and my ex, removing us from an aircraft, first removing us, having us go to the back of the plane and giving our seats up to a family that we made uncomfortable because we were gay, and then getting removed from the aircraft altogether because we made people uncomfortable for being publicly gay. And they said that wasn't the issue or the reason, but, it was kind of funny that we were the ones that were removed from the situation. Someone had tried to take our seats that we had paid for, and it was just a long story. So whatever. That I've never sued anybody before. Like, I'm not like money hungry or somebody that's like trigger happy, or honestly somebody that really wants to waste their time. But like this, I had a point to prove. And I think that, again, it was bigger than me and it was on my shoulders, and it was a responsibility of mine because I do have a platform and because of what I publicly went through to shed a little bit of light on this situation, because I'm not the only one that's gone through this. It's only going to continue and get worse if somebody doesn't put their foot down and stick up to, the people that are unfortunately like involved in this kind of behavior. So, I felt like that was something that I definitely had to do. And in return, whatever money we end up winning from this lawsuit, I'm just going to donate to the community and just the LGBTQ community as a whole, and see what we can do to raise more awareness and just bring more attention to, these kind of unfortunate situations that are still occurring and happening. So yeah, that's probably the biggest platform that I'm voicing on right now. There's some other things that, I care about as well.
No doubt. No doubt. Definitely. And again, I thank you for sharing that with us. I'm not going to fly JetBlue no more. That's for sure. I never flew them in the first place, but I will make sure I mark them off the do not fly list on my list. Okay.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, if you discriminate against you, they discriminate against everybody. You know what I mean? I think we separate ourselves from the LGBT community because we're not part of the community, realizing that all discrimination, no matter which way you look at it. If you're sticking up for that, you're sticking up for everything. If it's about making a point, sometimes you have to make a point. You have to tell these companies, look, you have to treat all of us accordingly, not as, oh, because I'm gay, that you're gonna get my seats up, even though I paid for this. You know what I mean? So it's always a punch in the face. They always trying to lowball us in some kind of way, always trying to degrade us in some kind of way. And I say us because, people of color go through similar things. You know what I mean? So sometimes you got to take a stand. You got to stand up for what you believe in. You cannot let that pass. You cannot let that go. I could imagine how embarrassing it was, how frustrating it was, how angry you were, you and your ex. I'm completely sure that y'all were furious by the time y'all got off that plane.
Oh, yeah.
I mean?
I mean, late getting back home. So a little pissed,
So I definitely understand that. But let me take a quick break. We're going to come right back and get right back into it, family. But listen, you want to call us with your comments, question, call us at 844-844-1244. Again, it's 844-844-1244. You can also email us at jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. That's jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. That's JIMMYBONDS podcast@gmail.com. You'll listen to the Jimmy Bonds Podcast on Illadelphia Radio. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is Megan from Abu Dhabi. Listen to Jimmy Bonds Podcast on Illadelphia Radio.
Welcome back to the Jimmy Bonds Podcast on Illadelphia Radio. We thank you for listening. Remember, family, you can call us at 844-844-1244. Again, it's 844-844-1244. You can also email us at jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. Again, it's jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. That's JIMMYBONDS podcast@gmail.com.
I want some diamonds on my neck. What the fuck gotta do to get respect? Sell a pound, get a bag. Made $1 million, reinvest. Now I got some people coming for my head, but I'm screaming, cut the check. I want some diamonds on my neck. What the fuck gotta do to get respect? Sell a pound, get a bag. Made $1 million, reinvest. Now I got some people coming for my head, but I'm screaming. Better check yourself, checking.
And welcome back to Jimmy Bonds Podcast on Illadelphia Radio. And again, family, we'll continue our Artist Spotlight series. And we are joined by our sister all the way from the D by way of Miami, my sis Chelzzz. She is killing it all the way, every way, which way you call it. She's doing her thing. Family, she's taking us back. She's taking us present. And now we're going to talk about the future. And so I definitely want to talk about what you got coming up next. All that good stuff, what you see yourself doing. But 5 years from now, Chelzzz, 5 years from now, tell me what you think. Tell me what you think you're going to be doing 5 years from now.
Honestly, I'd like to own a few businesses, just kind of invest and see what I could do. And that way, if I could make a little bit more money, then I can definitely help out other artists and invest in other artists that were in my shoes, early on and didn't have the resources. Because it's so hard, everything as an artist is so difficult and so expensive. So if I could help out other artists and even kind of start maybe a collective, which is kind of what I would like to start doing with some of these shows that I want to throw here in the next couple of, not years, the next couple of months, really kind of start building this together. The last time I was doing shows, it wasn't just hip hop music. It was, people that were, playing piano, people that were dancing, comedians, all different forms of talent were coming together in one room. And that's really what I want to do. And I want to bring out videographers. I want to bring out vendors. I want to make it more of a festival vibe. So it could be, also a collective of people that could rely on one another, oh, hey, homegirl shoots videos or, blah, blah, blah. And they can bounce great ideas off one another. They could come to one another if they want, some dancers in their video, or if they need choreography for their video or whatever the case may be. But these people can formulate a friendship and rely on one another too. And I just want to bring, I guess, more of a community to hip hop as a whole, because I think it's been so individualized, and not just in the Miami area, but in every area, because people are like crabs in a bucket and no one wants to help one another. Everybody wants to sit here and pull each other down and think they're going to get up. but like we need to rely on one another to really make it come true. And just like you saw with XXXTentacion and, you know, all of the members only, you know, look at how many of those kids blew up because they all joined forces together and tried to do the damn thing. And like, we need more people like that, you know, to see that like this is a group situation. And that's really what I want to formulate here in the next like 6 to 10 months is just like a good steady group of people that like can rely on one another in the South Florida area and branch out and start doing that in other areas as well. Because I think that that's super important. And that's what hip hop is lacking.
That sounds like an artistic collaboration network.
Yeah, you really just doing it tonight. She just listen, bro. Like
she's showing off.
Yo, she's showing off, dog. She's showing off. She's showing off, dog. She's just showing off. I said 5 years. She's like, wait a minute, hold on. Let me give you my blueprint. Let me tell you what I'm about to do. And you know, like for real, man, I'm sitting there like I'll be smiling. Like you saw me get a Jordan hand because I'm just like, I don't know. She's telling the truth. You know what I mean? Like we're better together than we are apart. And as you say, the crabs in the barrel just doesn't start in Florida or Detroit. It's in Philly. It's in Baltimore. It's in DC. It's in Atlanta. It's in LA. It's in Houston. It's in Seattle. It's everywhere when it comes to this thing called hip hop, particularly. You know, we're just always pulling each other down. And it is very much an individual basis. It's very much an individual thing, you know, and it I'm sorry, yo, you said some really profound stuff. I'm just like, I'm in such agreement of everything that you said. Like sometimes people just don't understand, like, yo, this is not just for me. This is for y'all too. Like, I'm not just doing this for me. I'm doing this for y'all, you know, like, and you said something very key. Like a lot of artists don't know how much it costs to do things. They just go out there and think it's going to get done. You talked about the fact that how expensive it is and how you would like to start some kind of collective that helps out with that. You know, oh, she does videography. He does photography. You know what I mean? They do graphic design. They do, yeah. Like, I mean, that's an idea I've always had about bringing artists together because I see art not just as music. I see art as acting. I see art as painting. I see art even as even signing. You know what I mean? Graffiti and all that kind of stuff. That's art. Okay. You know, that's art. That's not just. It's not just like just hip hop. Like. The artists in music kind of just limit themselves. Like so many people that are artists do so many other things other than just that one thing that you might identify them as. Like, you know, like for example, like I do podcasting, right? But I also do MCing, right? But we also over here running a radio station, me and Ty, right? Ty does production. Ty is an MC as well. You know what I mean? Ty is a fantastic chef. You know what I mean? That's something.
Name it, I'll flame it.
I mean, a fantastic chef. Like, you know, so we all have these different gifts as artists. Now, I think that's culinary art and cooking. You know, that's art by itself. Like,
amen.
You know, so it's like
I love to say about that.
I seen your pictures at the restaurant with your family. I seen the pictures with yourself. Yeah, I seen that. But I'm just saying, like, you know. We have to expand our minds collectively as art. We have to expand our brands. And that's one of the ways you can always do it. You talked about, I see a lot in your press release, you talk about linking up with other businesses and cross-promoting. You know, is a very big aspect of something that you do. And that helps a lot of not just what you do, but the other people that you're cross-promoting with. I mean, I think just like you said, that separation of it's not about me no more. It's more about how I can help as well. You know what I mean? And look, the more I help, the more it helps me. Like at the end of the day, that's the way I see it. The more you help, the more you're going to help someone else. You're helping yourself, really, to be honest with you. And not in a selfish way, but more like, you know, you're learning something, you're helping someone move forward. I mean, that is more gratifying than anything I could ever find out. You know, you help somebody and you be like, man, I didn't know you was going to go there. And they do one small thing. And next thing you know, the sky's the limit, you know? Mm-hmm. And I mean, I don't mean to go on and on about it. I just really appreciate you saying what you say because I think the same way. Ty thinks the same way. My team thinks the same way. My family thinks the same way. His family thinks the same way, you know, like, so it goes a long way. It touches me really deep. I love when artists come on and really share their story, and it means a lot to talk about those things. So I'm going to stop. I'm going to run in my mouth, man. Moving right along. You know, Ty, you got any questions, man, before we end this thing out, man?
Yes. Chelzzz, I'm going to name 5 songs, just random songs that you've done. And I just want you to tell me what comes to mind after I name them, okay?
Okay.
All right. First one is Nighttime.
Big booty. I think of that one girl's ass bouncing up in my face in that video. That's like stayed in my memory forever when I think of that song.
Jimmy, she's a classic, man.
Yo, I told you, classic, dog. Just classic. I told you, all the videos, all of them, especially that one.
All right, the second one is Stimulus.
I think of crowd surfing. I got to crowd surf for that video. Yeah. It was super. Hell yeah.
All right, Up All Night.
I think of my ex.
Okay. All right. Vapors.
Yo. Green and really, really, really bad women.
All right. And of course, the last one, Night in Miami.
Rolls Royce. And I just think of, I blew the tire in the Rolls Royce. I may have been a little tipsy when I was driving. So like right as soon as we were done filming, I just like popped the curb a little bit too much and I boom, just so I'm like, that's what I think about when I think about that movie.
Oh man. All right, my last question is, what can people expect when they come to your show to see you perform?
Yo, we do a Miami style over here, Broward County style, which means we do it down and dirty and we be moshing. So if you ready to get physical, you ready to get physical. I hope so, because there's a whole lot of love. It's just all good vibes, but I pull everybody up on stage with me. We all get lit. So it's a very interactive experience.
I love to come to one of them shows. I gotta come to one of them shows.
Oh, hell yeah, it's lit.
I gotta come to one of them shows, sit with Chelzzz.
Hell yeah.
What about venues? What was your favorite venue to perform at or city?
Yo, South by Southwest, hands down, was just like the best show experience ever. I threw a show. I had like over 3,000 people there. It was on my birthday. It was just like a great way to celebrate my birthday. It was a great way to it was the biggest crowd I've ever performed in front of. And it was my show. So like, I was really proud of myself, so it was a really, really lit vibe.
That's super dope. 3,000 people, huh? That must have been amazing to step out on that stage and see that.
Yes.
Just see them, see people just there for you. Like, wow, that must have been just the feeling probably took your breath away. Like, oh shit.
It was incredible. I mean, like, and just the fact that like we cultivated the vibe that like people even wanted to come in and like see that, like it was a dope showcase. And the venue that we had, it was really dope because you could perform to the street too. So like it was wide open. So like you turn around and perform to the street. We had like all these people getting lit in the street and it brought a ton of people into the venue. So, I mean, like there were like 3,000 people in the venue, but who really knows how many people actually heard what was going on? Because like there was a ton of traffic around.
Well, Chelzzz, we're gonna end it here, right? We're gonna wrap the show. But there's always a question I want to ask before I always end the show. You do what you do, and people gonna hear this podcast, people listen to this interview, they're gonna think one thing or think another. What is it that you want the listeners to walk away with? What is it that you want them to know about you when they're done listening?
Like I think I'm pretty transparent. Like I think a lot of people just, I don't know. I think I give a lot of myself away, but at the same time, like, I don't want people to like judge a book by its cover. We're all going through some stuff and we're all like, at the end of the day, like we all got emotions and stuff like that. And like, just because I hold it together, I don't want people to think I'm less human. And I don't want people to think that like I'm trying to portray myself as that or like trying to think that I'm like better than or anything like that. Like I got a lot of stuff that I'm going through too. At the end of the day, I just don't choose to shed light on the negativity in my life. And that's just a personal choice of mine. if anybody ever does, or if anybody ever has, issues or anything like that, like, I don't find it weak to cry out for help. I think that that's actually really strong, and to make it known is super strong too. So however you have to deal with that, I'm not attacking in any way. I just want people to know that, like, I don't define myself as better. I got issues too. I just not trying to deal with them in different ways or in negative ways for myself. Because I can personally get caught up really quickly in that, and it's not a pretty scene. So, I choose not to be that person for myself today, because it's not good for my personal mental health. But if it's good for other people to vent and stuff like that, then that's great. And I'm always going to be there as like a shoulder to cry on or somebody to lean on. At least, for my social media followers and stuff like that, and anybody who wants to reach out.
I told you she was honest.
Yeah.
I said she was honest, authentic, and real. And, I can't, sometimes you just can't put your finger on it. Like, what is it? What exactly is it about this person? And you start hearing people like Chelzzz speaking, you're like, yeah, that's what it is. It's the realness about it all. Everything you're saying, everything that you said throughout the interview, has really helped me, feel better about what I'm doing. And I mean that in any kind of like, kiss ass way. I mean, just honestly, like, it's helped to show me that, like, hey, we think the same. And sometimes we get in this world and it's like, I don't even think like this. But then you start realizing there's other people that think the same things, and it's refreshing. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's refreshing. It's a reminder that you do this not just because it's your job or because it's what you love to do. You do this to affect others, make an impact, positively make an impact on their life. And I dig everything you're saying about, like, people go through things, we don't want to show that side all the time. We don't want to tell people about the bad stuff we go through because maybe it's fear of repercussion or judgment or whatever it may be. But at the same time, it's like, you shared a lot with us, Chelzzz. It wasn't like you held back in no kind of way, like, good, bad, ugly, and indifferent. You know what I mean? And I think that's the journey people really enjoy, is knowing that, like, hey, I'm similar to her. I can relate to what she's going through. I can relate to, like, some of the things she's been in. You know what I mean? Like, how many young girls out there playing basketball right now probably like, like, want to rap too? You know what I mean? Like, it's probably a whole lot of them. And a lot of time I just need the encouragement to say, like, yo, you can do it, or just give an example. So, you talked about South by Southwest. Do you know how many artists in this country want to do that show? Do you know? You know what I mean? You know how many shows, like, they be like, yo, that is their mecca. That is their one. You know what I mean? So you just, you're doing it. You've done so much in your career. It's really a short career, to be honest with you. It's not like decades spanning. You started learning how to rap, and then you still got so much more to do for yourself. I know that's the way you feel. You know what I mean? I know you don't feel like this is it. I'm going to stop. I'm done. I know you're like, yo, I got big plans.
Oh yeah.
So, I am thankful. I'm really humbled by everything you shared with us. I'm gracious in receiving your story, because it is so real for me. I feel like you touching me, you touch Ty, you touch my listeners. And that's sometimes, that's what we want. We just want people to listen, let's do some real stuff, let's do some real stories about people's life. And not in all, like, I hate the commercials. I hate I rap, I get on the show and I do this and I do that. Like, I feel like people want to know what really these artists go through. And I really appreciate you sharing that. You know what I mean? I really appreciate you sharing that. So, before we go, I'm going to start running my mouth. Go ahead and sing your shout outs. Make sure they drop and know where to find you at on social media and your website, all that good stuff. Go ahead. Talk to them.
Hey, the real Chelzzz, Chelzzz, on all social media, everywhere. You could just throw Chelzzz up on Google and find it and stream it wherever you want. So check it out and enjoy. And, if you don't, that's cool too. Still drop me a comment and rock with me, because I'm still a cool person.
Yeah, that is true. She's still a cool person. You need to check out the videos, homie. You need to check out the videos. You want to sit over there and not, go look at YouTube. Look her up on YouTube. See what she's done. Don't think she's just doing shows. She got stuff out there with other artists that that you've heard of, like Kodak Black. Hey. Come on now, open your. Come on. I know you heard of Kodak Black, so go check out her YouTube. Go check out what she's doing, man. Go listen to her new project somewhere in Miami. And Ty, what else you got to say before we jump out? Ty, you got anything to say, man?
Yeah, this interview has been a good one right here, man. This is a good interview.
Yeah, man, I can check this one off the box. And, you know, this is going on. This is going up on the what's name, Jay. She's super on point. Super on point.
Y'all are great. Like, this was one of my favorite interviews too. So I really appreciate having me. That's love.
Look, man, you know, we appreciate you coming on. You're welcome on anytime. You know your music already rocking on the radio station. So, you know, it's only a matter of time before we get all everything else popping. You know what I mean? As soon as this podcast come on, people are gonna be like, yeah, it is. I'm gonna check out our music. But you know, we'll make sure that we let our listeners know everything about you, where to find you at, you know what I mean, all that kind of good stuff. I plug it all into the descriptions. You know, I'm talking about descriptions on YouTube. Now people be on that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So but listen, family, we're gonna sign off tonight. I thank Chelzzz for coming in and doing her thing. I thank y'all for listening. As always, remember, please wear your mask, wash your hands, and practice social distancing. Also, make sure, tell your friends, your loved ones, your family members that you love them, because you never know when you may get another chance. And family, that's going to wrap the show. We want to thank you for listening to Jimmy Bond's podcast on Illadelphia Radio. Remember, you can call us with your comments and questions at 844-844-1244. Again, it's 844-844-1244. You can also email us at jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. Again, it's jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. It's JIMMYBONDS podcast@gmail.com. You've been listening to the Jimmy Bond's podcast on Illadelphia Radio. We thank y'all for listening. I'm out. Peace.
Cut the check. I want some diamonds on my neck. What the fuck gotta do to get respect? Sell a pound, get a bag. Made $1 million, reinvest. Now I got some people coming for my head, but I'm screaming, cut the check. I want some diamonds on my neck. What the fuck gotta do to get respect? Sell a pound, get a bag. Made $1 million, reinvest. Now I got some people coming for my head, but I'm screaming. I'ma always keep it generous.
Fam, that's going to wrap the show. We want to thank you for listening to Jimmy Bond's podcast on Illadelphia Radio. We ask you leave your comments and questions at 844-844-1244. Again, that's 844-844-1244. You can also email us at jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. Again, that's jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. That's JIMMYBONDS podcast@gmail.com. Now remember, family, we are still in the COVID-19 pandemic, so please remember to wash your hands, wear a mask, and practice social distancing. Also, remember to take nothing for granted and value every opportunity you have with your friends, your family, and your loved ones. For in these times, every moment is sacred. So until the next episode, you can find me on Good Hope Road, screaming, stay up, don't sleep in your dreams. I'm Jimmy Bonds, and I'm out.